I think even by the most generous standards, depicting it as convoluted is one hell of an understatement. But before I go charging into how the film is all the better for it, let me first say with the utmost sincerity and with zero hyperbole that there is little that I despise more than a film or a novel or poem or painting or any other piece of artistic craft that is purposefully unintelligible and incoherent because the filmmaker knows that if the audience feels like the film has gone over their head, they'll hesitate to speak up for fear of looking unsophisticated. Take this gem here, for example. And so when asked, hey David, why did you throw that salad of chaos, distraction, and incoherence at me? What is it exactly you're trying to say? Then they try and get away with machine gunning horse shit like this across the audience.
It's up to the people then, to, find their own, interpretation. It doesn't really matter what I think.
You can explain something about the bluebirds, because some people don't really understand the end. Not too much.
No, I won't explain it. But I think it's going to be a different explanation for, different people.
I know you hate saying what things mean in your films, but am I right in thinking that that's at least in the right area?
No.
So no definition of Lynchian from David Lynch?
No. I really would like to be able to explain, but the film ends up being the explanation. That's what's so terrible about press conferences. It's all about the film, not about the words.
Either that or they stick their entitled noses up in the air and insist their work is simply too good and too insightful to be appreciated by the likes of the plebeians they're hoping will pay to see it. And more often than not, they're sure to make it clear just how little respect for their craft they have, how proud they are at how little effort they put into becoming good at it, and scoffing at the dedicated pioneers that came before them and even made it possible for them to prey upon the impressionable, the ignorant, and the cripplingly shallow by calling them simple, boring dinosaurs of the past.
I'm not into musicianship at all. I don't have any respect for it. I just hate it. To learn how to read music or to understand arpeggios and Dorian modes and all that stuff is just a waste of time. It gets in the way of originality.
Imagine, for example, a 5-year-old kid who wants to be good at playing the piano, but after realizing that being good means countless hours of practice, hard work, study, and delaying instant gratification in order to achieve it, he simply changes the definition of what it means to be a talented piano player to include people who smear chocolate pudding all over the sheet music, that is, the sheet music that he can't read, and chaotically smashing the keys with the palm of his hand in no discernible order whatsoever. And there you have it, the current state of cinematic affairs brought to you by the entitled, finger-sniffing, fuck-witted, morally corrupt progressive ghouls infesting Hollywood.
Our next presenter starred in Netflix's Bird Box, a movie where people survive by acting like they don't see a thing. Sort of like working for Harvey Weinstein. You did it. I didn't. You did it. Shut the fuck up.
I'm not going to take a pile of shit, hurl it against the wall, then demand my audience explain what it means to me. And when their explanations don't hail my quote-unquote work as anything less than transplendent, or if they persist on asking questions that demand I defend my work with any sort of consistency, I lambaste them as dim-witted, uncultured naifs not worthy of an explanation that I don't even actually fucking have. Imagine the cheek on these entitled, talentless bourgeoisies. Defend your work, you postmodern, gutless, pie-slinging snake oil salesman.
Oh, that's all right. I laugh myself sometimes. Ain't a whole lot else you can do.
Because if you won't, or more likely you can't, I, as should everybody else, will assume that you have nothing even remotely compelling or insightful to say, that you've never had an original, interesting, or introspective thought in that big empty head of yours, and if, on the off chance, you found a degree of success in whatever capacity, it's only because you figured out how to exploit people's inherent fear of being ostracized and outcast from social circles because they're not up to date with whatever soulless, esoteric, meaningless crap that's currently being popularized by Starbucks or Disney.